Sometimes you need to be alone. That's like a place where you get to have a lot of growth. We should really not be trying to use people just to escape ourselves, because then you are using somebody and treating them like they are an object rather than treating them like a person. And if you can't treat somebody like a person, then you can't have a relationship with them. I think everyone is just way too caught up in trying to satisfy themselves instead of even realizing what a relationship is. I'm honestly fully convinced that if you are under the age of, I want to say 18, but under the age of 21, you probably don't have an actual concept of what a relationship really is unless you just have really good parents. Y'all be saying you think you know somebody after talking to them a couple times, or getting to know somebody is so much deeper. Y'all just be jumping around to satisfy yourselves. The novelty that goes into taking something extremely slow with someone. You don't really know somebody until you've lived with them. You could even technically be in a relationship with somebody and just not even really still know who they are.
I think a lot of people just want something to have fear around when it comes to all the AI data centers and stuff, because scarcity seems to be a fundamental currency around what's happening in the world that people attach themselves to on a consistent basis. Global warming has never been real. A lot of people don't realize we live on a planet that has a consciousness that we are attached to. If it really wanted humans gone because we were damaging it that badly, it would do the thing. The only reason we're even here to be able to do what we do as we do is because this planet permits us to live in these conditions to do so. And we don't think like that because of how privileged we are in just being alive. But when you see the courteousness that has to exist for us to have this symbiotic relationship with this planet to even be here, so much different. Anything that talks about that we're going to have a lack of something in society is already telling you something false. This planet is so infinitely abundant. They had people realize how abundant nature is. People would then go seek out seeing the abundance in nature. And now shifting from not really global warming hardly anymore, they're just talking about the water usage of AI data centers. How could we ever run out of food? No one's going to destroy every seed on the planet. The only thing that it makes sense to is somebody that lives and views scarcity and being in lack as a primary state of being. That's why people don't try and just grow their own food, and they just like live in lack, like, oh, I can't do anything. There's nothing that we as humans will ever do to speed up what's going to happen on this planet. There's never going to be a scarcity of literally anything. We have free energy point systems on the planet right now. And if you tell me that we have an energy crisis, yes, that headline has implications in the economy, and that does affect other things. There's so many different ways to still tap into the idea of abundance. Nobody really gets to see that if your frame of mind is never on abundance or getting the job done or seeing how there can be more. Belief is the foundation behind how everything makes you view the world. And if you don't see abundance, you're not going to see it. If you can get out of that frame of mind, that's all it is. It's in the mind. In reality, there will always be more than enough for everybody in every single way. And materializing that is also just as possible. But it can't be for most people who are still seeing, experiencing, and living in a state of constant lack. You are repelling your ability to have something just by being in resistance to it. Like, most people don't even realize how much food security would be solved right now if most people were just growing a lot of their own food already. School itself is designed to make factory workers. It is a complete waste of time. How ridiculous it is to be trained to memorize things that don't have value inside of your brain. The only reason why school matters in some way when you're younger is the social part of it. We need better ways for people to be able to socialize that have nothing to do with that. That's my problem that always was with school, is that school does not actually prepare you for how the changing dynamic of socializing in the world is. It's so much more isolating once you get older as well. It's not the same. If they don't integrate so much of the roleplay stuff into GTA 6, it's going to be very strange. When I first got my first PC, which I also dropped out of college just to get that PC. Like, I took my first refund, and I wanted to go pro in Overwatch, and I was absolute hot ass, but I was like so hard committed to trying to go pro. What are my hobbies? Yo. Oh, where did all the homosexual behavior come from?
Trauma in my childhood. fight is over. Rodney's new reality. Guess who's back with a new mentality?
Out to all my haters who said I couldn't do it. Every morning I wake up, I got folders in my cup. Give some kibble to my pup, eat shit, clean up, cup, pups up, yup, whoop, give a fuck. Got a bitch in my bed and I don't give no fucking fuck. I work all day, I gotta get paid. And when I come back home, I don't wanna get laid. I got my fucking hand.
Somebody has a video of me slamming a fucking liter bottle of Jack in 30 seconds. That experience is what made me never go back to alcohol again. Before I actually got into making music or trying to make music my full-time thing, I was trying to be a streamer in 2017 when I got out of high school. I was making music as well, but I hit a point where I just couldn't keep up with trying to come on stream. I didn't believe in myself as much as I needed to. I just kind of went all in on music. Before I ever actually got in to PC, I was a console kid my entire life. The only reason I ever bought a PC was because I dropped out of college to try to go pro in this game, matter of fact. After Overwatch, there was a point, obviously, where I realized I am not going to go pro in this video game. Fortnite was like the next thing I dedicated myself to. Around the Fortnite times, I actually almost went pro. Around the first World Cup, I had a teammate. We were 3 points away from qualifying. He had like Asian parents and he had to end up going to do summer school or something. Getting into life as an adult was either streaming, going pro in a game, and then music. First two things completely fell apart. Eventually I started just doing music. I would give anything to be able to go back really just to the Xbox 360 and like, I think right after, you know, the first like few years after Xbox One came out, were amazing. I always end up coming right back to music. That's how I know that that's like my main thing of what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. I could have the worst day of my life and just put on something that makes my body move. So there's really never been a gaming recovery, I think, since the peak of Fortnite. We've had some other cool things come out. Something that I've come into a lot lately is music, jumping around and like making myself move, my body move whenever I'm listening to music. I started listening to a lot more house music and stuff like that, and I've realized just how important it is for us to move our bodies. I feel like it sparked so much more energy inside of my entire body when I started just dancing and jumping around to music. I feel like there's a big cringe in our society around not looking cool or having some type of aesthetic, having yourself dance or move to music and really getting into it. You know, I feel like that's tied into the passion and heart that's died a lot in our society. The novelty behind performance when it comes to music lost its weight. Don't see people trying to do Michael Jackson type stuff. Full energetic embodiment of whatever character you represent as a performer. Rick, can you take me to the universe where I'm really good at video games and I don't suck a fat fucking cock every time I'm trying to play? Oh, shit, daddy. One of the most important things that every major artist has ever understood, I'm talking the superstar artist, is that their music becomes a foundation for people inside of their life. The world people come to, whether that's to escape their emotions, to process their emotions, not just feel, but to resonate. There's plenty of music that gives people feelings. The resonancy that comes with the artist knowing that people are going to come to this music for whatever reasons they have when they're creating what they're creating. That is what creates resonance and gravity behind certain artists being as big as they were. That's why X was the last superstar we ever had. The service of creating and being a creator, you are the downloading source for whatever is coming through you, and then being able to be the alchemy that processes whatever comes through you to then intentionalize that towards helping it reach the people in the ways that they need it. An artist that has that coming from their audience, it's often always because the audience used that music as a lifeline. As like, when there's no one to call, I'm gonna play the song. When I ain't got nobody around me and it feels like no one cares, I can press play. Music is the least productive part of the whole process, and that's so sad. Like, it's so disappointing to me that music is the most unproductive part. But it's not at the same time, obviously, because the music itself is I would say, an everlasting digital real estate product that you will always have, which is why it's so worth investing in it. But like, when I look right now, having a catalog of music, what is the most productive thing I can do? It is not to make more music. Very touchy thing for me to say this. After my sister passed away, the biggest thing that I could ever think of, my sister completed whatever cycle that she had to complete in this life. My sister had talked about how that she had a past life where she died in a car wreck, similar to how she did this time in this life. but it was like 10 years prior. Like, she died in like her late teens, early 20s. And this life had passed away in her 30s. Every single person, no matter who you are, you serve your purpose. And no one is here to define, I cannot, and no one can tell you exactly what that purpose is. But the cycle of life has a completion stage. And that completion ends whenever you are no longer in physical form anymore. Energy does not die. We think that body is not here, person's gone. Everyone always is going to exist in spirit, in vibration, but everyone is following the path of their own destiny and their own fate and whatever it is that they are meant to do here. Sometimes that doesn't mean that they're doing things in the world. The most unfortunate part about trying to tell people about what grief is inside of a spiritual context, when someone passes away, we get emotional about death itself, but it always has a meaning and a representation. It is teaching somebody in relation to the source, the person, something that they had to learn. They serve a purpose that is so much deeper than what most people can begin to comprehend. We are so emotional about people not being here anymore that we don't even give them the opportunity to be understood. I want you to hear exactly what I just told you. We get so emotional about people who are no longer here, so much so that we don't even give them the opportunity to be understood, and they're not even here anymore. Some people spend their entire lives just wanting other people to actually understand who they are, to know that their presence in existence was something that someone cared enough about. There were some things that we speculated about my sister that we didn't fully come to understand until my sister wasn't here anymore. Obviously, would I want somebody's passing to have to be the representation for anything inside of this reality? But that is just a part of life. And even if your physical form passes, you are going to die so many times in this life. Every year you become a new person. Every 7 years, when you're replacing organs in your body at a cellular level, you are becoming a different person. When you learn new skills, when you have to overcome challenges, you are, a part of you is literally dying. I can't even say I'm the same person I was 3 years ago. That dude is completely different. He thinks, acts, feels, exists in a whole different way. I don't like people's religious understanding of trying to tell you about what the spiritual plan is behind somebody's death. Crazy to say that I don't feel like there's enough religious people who have a deep level of empathy to be able to even express the things they believe to people in a way that doesn't become harmful to them. And this is why subscribing to religion in any way is basically just still subscribing to a cult. Lacking the format of understanding, there becomes a presence of overlooking too many things just so that you can hold a belief onto something. This is the most unfortunate part about religion, is that people use it more as a weapon than they actually do for something good. If it's not religion, they're gonna weaponize something. People just want to be in those places of violence and friction and conflict. I do think it's very ironic how there's so many people who claim themselves to be Christians, but they're extremely negative. They don't even understand the wisdom behind the fucking book they're reading. They just overgeneralize a lot of language that they get from being at church around people. They use that as the end-all be-all for making conclusions inside of other people's realities. Heaven and hell are concepts of the mind. They have nothing to do with where you're gonna go whenever you're not here. Heaven and hell are not places. They are states of being. People only use the idea of going to heaven or hell as a way to fearmonger and put negativity into somebody so that they can control them. Religion, primarily, especially Christianity, and our understanding of it today, is prosed in control and keeping people controlled underneath certain basis and bias. If it wasn't designed for that, it would be more spiritual leaning. Origin behind a lot of these religions has nothing to do with the way people have completely misconstrued them in today's world. Christianity started as a fucking mushroom cult. It started as something that was based around psychedelics, and if you actually read the Bible, wisdom, and having the prerequisite to have wisdom, because that's the thing, you can't understand what's really being said to you if you don't have the information before to know what's in the book. Then people read it like a story. They take everything too literally. They don't grab the expanding context behind what is in front of their face. Everything is lost in translation. So everyone's speaking a different language while they're trying to worship the same thing. Do you see now why there's so much discombobulation and discord inside of religion in and of itself? And it's supposed to be like that, because if everybody actually could get the deep context to have the right interpretation behind what is there, then we would not have any of these back and forths that people would have as problems when it comes to religion. If the wisdom is embedded beside something else that decides to completely suppress it in a different way,
then that was created by somebody else. What matters more in today's world when it comes to information is going to be resonance. The word God inside of the Bible itself, people don't understand what God really is. Then they're now prosing their limited understanding of it. Even if it's not religion, they're still going to find something. Every person that is coming in with negative intentions, they, one way or another, are going to find a place to have fear and use that as a way to control other people. It doesn't matter whether it's religion, politics, or whatever else it is. If you don't believe in good moral character, treating people like a human and being decent, then like people are going to take the energy that they already have and put it wherever they like, whether that's to find some form of relief, to build a delusional frame of mind so that they don't have to acknowledge anything that they are enabling in a negative way inside of their reality. I have no respect for any belief system that dehumanizes, degrades, or deteriorates the viewpoint of another person being. There's really no belief system that morally stands correct around anything negative. Whatever it is that you do doesn't hurt anybody, also doesn't prioritize in any way degrading the format of life itself. You can go do your own statistics on how unrealistic going to college is now for anybody going into the workforce. Whether anybody wants to or not, AI is going to be the future of our world. You either get with it or you get left behind. If those facts make you emotional, then it's probably because you have some type of internal system that makes you feel threatened by things that you are not familiar with. I don't care if I lose followers by talking about real stuff with people because I want real people to support me talking about real stuff. People that can't handle it will get emotional and offended around the smallest things, and I could care less to appease to you as being somebody that I want in my community. I'm here for the raw, authentic 5,000 people who are going to be my diehard community. People are so fragile that you can say something that just threatens the reality of what's real and what's actually going to happen. That's just part of posting clips. People are going to take your shit out of context, have a way to be emotional about it. For me, that's just power. That means you are literally giving me power. They could literally create an autonomous organization and have a fully automated business that makes money for them while they sleep and while they do nothing else. Telling people that is something that they don't even want to believe, that the second you say AI, it threatens a part of their existence, because a part of them now has to start realizing that all of the shit that they're doing or would do actually amounts to nothing compared to what having an autonomous AI organization can do for you. There is nothing off of the table from robots and AI. And that's why people can't actually comprehend the conversation sometimes around talking about it, and they just get emotional and they shut down. AI and robots are designed to take capitalism at scale. There is a group of people that are just solely focused on dominating a sector in anything, to either add in an AI layer somewhere to completely dissipate a portion of the workforce to it. The doctor's office started with taking out the people at the front, customer service, booking appointments, because that was the start of it. That shit was 2 years ago. But now it's the other part of it. What's the point of actually seeing the doctor physically when you have telehealth solutions? People are so emotional, they don't even know where we're at half the time with this stuff. If you could see the potential of what OpenClaw is, that's the kind of shit that would literally destroy people's frame of mind. It would destroy their ego so deeply. They would have to realize that everything that they were taught will be irrelevant for the future. Everything you could think of to have a job, irrelevant. It's game over with that shit. Anything that has an artificial form to it will be replaced by artificial things. All of these jobs, entire medical field was created just so that we could have a funnel for people in the death culture that was created. Most doctors aren't really even necessary. True healing modalities, aside from the technical part, blood work and other things, the natural holistic healer can't do. That's the healers we have always had. Hospitals used to be out in nature, out in the open. They used to follow an entirely different set of principles for what healing even was. We don't need very different types of doctors. Now that you have AI, every single place where something artificial exists, that is what will be replaced. What can't be replaced is what is not. You are already trusting an AI every day subconsciously, the same way you already subconsciously trust reality to function, stores to be open, people to come in. This whole world is built on belief and trust. The world has been operating off of algorithms for longer than most people probably would ever want to admit. I think we've actually been operating on algorithms for probably at least since the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Fucking fuck you, bro! Why? At least he didn't get the fucking kill.